when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to UFO Paranormal Radio and United Public Radio Network, and this is the thing at the foot of the bed, and you're listening, if you're in the South in the U.S., to you could be listening to it on 105.3 out of Mississippi and 105.3 and 107.7. Sorry, lost my thoughts there for a second. Out of New Orleans, and welcome. I'm one of your hosts, and my amazing co-host is next to me. I get all the housekeeping out of the way, and then I hand it over to Dave. But if you've never been here before, welcome. We're glad to have you, and we always welcome back our regular listeners and viewers. My name's Lorilei Potvin. I am a host on this network, also of the Angel Rock on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Dave and I have this fun show. Love doing this stuff. It's great. I always say, right, Dave, Thursday's fastest 2 hours of my week. But just a few little things. First of all, where did I lose of course, I lost my place because I got to remind myself I don't have a script. Sorry, my brain's not working. And so I leave myself a little check mark list now. So if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. This network's been around for 25 plus years, and we do stream to every country in the world, if you can believe it or not. So there really is something for everybody here. And so please tell your friends and family, and like I said, like, share, and subscribe. We stream multiple hosts with shows daily, 7 days a week. And when we're not streaming live, the archive server kicks in and picks random shows over the last 25 plus years and from previous hosts and shows. And like I say, there's a gamut of different shows. There's new shows. I have yet to meet the new hosts yet, but Dave and I will. We have staff meetings every now and then, and it's nice to meet the new hosts. So check it out. I think we're up to 40 hosts on the network at least. So, and we're growing. So please hang in there and tell everybody. Also, if you want to watch us on TV, we are on Roku and possibly maybe going to some other devices I hear through the grapevine. Won't say anything about that till it's out there, just giving you a little heads up. But how you're going to find us on Roku is go to the channel store, type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list. We're about the third or fourth one down. You're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. And that's us, and you can watch us over there. Also, as you're going to see, we're going to say hi to everybody that pops into the chat here. I'll add that in a sec. I was going to say about Instagram, but I'll add that in a second. 80% of our listening audience is audio only. But if you want to figure out how to join in the chat, like how do I get my comments and questions seen and heard? Because this show, the thing at the foot of the bed, and the Angel Rock, they're both very audience participative. I always warn my guests on the Angel Rock, but I don't warn them. I brag about you guys and tell them that we have such an intelligent, amazing, awesome, kind, and really supportive audience. And you guys always ask great questions, make great comments. And otherwise, it'd just be me and Dave just hanging out here, having a great conversation, which we do. But it's more fun when you join in. I forgot to tell you what I do, too. I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher, and mentor. I'm also a registered nurse, a budding animal communicator. I am well-versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler many, many years ago. And I've studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. And I'm extremely well-versed in the paranormal, not by choice, but we lived in an extremely haunted house for many years, the one before this. And we shared part of our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 9. I think that's everything, Dave. Go ahead. Take it away. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Hey everybody, so my name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium, channel, angel communicator, spiritual, all kinds of stuff.
You do everything I do.
Pretty much everything. Lorilei does animal communicator. I'm a near-death survivor back in 2015. I hate to put it like that, near-death survivor. Well, I guess I survived it. I survived death, I should say.
I was talking about you on Monday night. That you were an adult.
Oh my God,
you remember your experience. But go ahead. Sorry,
I know, no, that's okay. Also, if you're just listening to us, keep this in mind. We now have a group on Facebook called called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed.
Yeah, my brains are everywhere tonight, right here, right?
So we have a group on Facebook called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel, and you can see when we show videos and stuff on our show. If you're not in the live audience, we do post them in the group so you can see what we're talking about. And you can also go in there and you can give us suggestions, share your scary stories, scary videos, or spooky videos. And they don't have to be scary, guys. I mean, just any paranormal thing, because not everything's scary. And so that's it about that for now.
They can even put questions, and I'll even share spiritual stuff in this group because I have two groups of my own, like you have groups too, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we talk about spiritual stuff as it relates to the paranormal too, or you guys got pictures or whatever. But what I want to remind people is we had somebody that tried to join the group. If you're listening, I apologize, but I did not approve you. You didn't have a photo and your profile was locked and you didn't answer the questions. And Dave and I decided jointly to make the group private so it's a safe space for everybody that's in there. If you want to share an experience or you want to ask questions, right, Dave, so that they feel safe there.
Yeah. So it is a private group. Plus, we keep it that way because just so you guys know this, so it's going around in all the social media. And it's happening a lot to all kinds of people, but especially to mediums and psychics and stuff. There's a lot of people who steal our faces and our stuff and pretend they're us, and they will message you. And like people who are impersonating me, dead giveaway when they message you and say something like, "Hello, dear, what's your astrological sign? I feel you could use a reading, or you have something terrible coming up, and I'd like to get you know about it."
You know what the first comment, you know what the first clue is for anybody out there? Impersonation, that is terrible what they are doing. But when you know what you just said, hello, dear.
Dear.
Yeah. You would never
Dear one. Yeah. I don't use Dear one and all that other crap. And I don't ask for an astrological sign. I don't need it. And then, one last thing. I got to tell you, a lot of things too, a dead giveaway. If they tell you that if they say they're me and that they have a WhatsApp, I don't use WhatsApp for anything. I am not on WhatsApp. I don't use WhatsApp. So if they say WhatsApp, that's a dead giveaway that it's not me.
It's usually Asia or Europe or over there. Don't get me wrong. Some people use it, but I know a lot of us don't use it. First of all, you have to use your phone number. And second of all, I've never really gravitated towards it. I have it and I used it. I have one or two people I use it with that I know, but there's a lot of viruses where there used to be and a lot of things like that. So I don't.
There's another app too that I don't use. A lot of people use it. It's like, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it. And it's so famous and popular. Like you can put little faces and everybody puts that. Everybody
Snapchat?
Snapchat, that's it. Mm-hmm. I'm not on Snapchat. I mean, people like Snapchat. I'm just not on it.
I'm on Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm just not on it. I barely can keep up with the messages from TikTok and Instagram, let alone the other one. And I'm terrible at that, you guys. So the best way to ever get a hold of me is just to write to me directly at david@theywhispertome.com. That's the best way.
I'm on it seems like a Lineable, LinkedIn, TikTok. I have a personal and a business profile on Instagram. We're both on YouTube, Facebook, obviously. But the reason why I'm on a bunch of different apps, one of these days, like I have so much time, like you, Dave, jokingly. But what why I say that is because in our age group, it seems, right? And now the big joke is people our age, your mom and dad, as they call us in this age group, or Gen X, which I hate labeling people, but that's what we're known as. Yeah. That's our app is Facebook. So, you're oldie moldy, and I don't care. Age is just a number, but
I'm barely on Facebook anymore. I mean,
there are different groups that use different apps. You know what I forgot to tell people as I got rambling? Where to go if you want to comment. I just thought of that now.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are listening and you do want to join the conversation, I got off on another tangent and I apologize. Where you can head over to is UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network on Facebook and YouTube. We're streaming to David's YouTube channel, which is the Spirit Experience, to David's group, They Whisper to Me. I am streaming on Instagram. They cut the feed off after an hour, and they're working on it. But they also don't integrate the conversation from Instagram into the main feed here. So I'll try and pop back and forth to say hi to you. I'm not ignoring you if you're over there because I'm streaming to the Angel Rock. I'm streaming to my own Facebook profile, Lorilei Potvin. We're on Canada's Most Haunted. And then my YouTube. Sorry, I almost forgot that. The Angel Rock, Lorilei Potvin. So head over there and you can join the conversation. We'd love to have you join us.
And now,
should we say hi to everybody?
Yeah, let's say hi. But I have something I wanted to ask you about because something strange has been happening to me, and it's perfect for this show. And I was just thinking about it. We were talking about what we're going to talk about today, and it happened again when I was getting ready to come over.
Do you want to hang on to it? We'll say hi to everybody.
Yeah, go ahead. Say hi to everybody.
Okay, and then so I won't highlight everybody. We'll just go through quick because we'll get into what Dave wants to share. So we've got Michelle Wilfong. Hi. Diane Brighton. We've got Contessa Martins. She says hello. And Jackie Lane says, good evening, everyone. Looking forward to the program. Nicole Thomas Ryan. Hi. Jennifer M. Happy Thursday, y'all. That's right. Happy Thursday. And Michelle Wilfong is saying hi to everyone. And she says, I do. And I really want to post so you can see what I have experienced. Kathy Hanley Little says, hi, Lorilei and David and Footies. And Kathy Hanley Little says, I only trust YouTube. And Michelle Wilfong says, I'm a boomer. Age is just a number.
Yeah, it is just a number. I was laughing. A friend of mine, he's a younger guy I used to work with. He was big on making fun of boomers, and he made this post and he complained on this post. And I just wrote back to him and I said, spoken like a true boomer. And people get so freaked out. He laughed about it. He thought it was funny, but it was all the stuff it's so funny. People complain about other people and then they do what the other people do that they're complaining about. And it's just hilarious.
History repeats itself. So what's going on with you?
All right. So, it's not news. Lorilei knows this before. So,
okay. I was going to go. You didn't tell me before, so I
didn't tell you then. But stuff like this has kind of happened before. But hi, Herbert Lopez. So, if all you know that, so I use the gift of clairaudience quite a bit, and that's not the only one, but I use it, which means it's clear hearing, which means we understand and hear the thoughts and sometimes the audible voices that come into your head. And I've had that since I was a kid. But anyway, the last couple of weeks, and it's happened, I've just kind of let it go. I'll be sitting in, my other room, just relaxing with the cats, and I'll hear music. And there's no music on, and I hear it. And it's like, where is that coming from? And or I'll even watch TV and I'll hear the music in the background. Today I was in my bathroom and I was getting ready to do the show and everything. And in the mirror, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I was like, there it is again.
Do you have that piano? Do you have that piano that your dad got? Remember that piano? That way you were hearing things from?
No, that's gone. No, this is like really ethereal music. It's like, it sounds like, it's hard to put because it's not quite loud enough to hear what it's doing, but it's not like our music where it's like there's a verse and then there's the big part and then another verse and then the main part and all that.
You don't recognize
it's just constantly going. I don't recognize anything to it, but I don't if I could.
What have you got new? What have you got new secondhand in your house?
Nothing with music, but you know what I thought
music. I'm not even thinking music. Just what have you picked up that is secondhand? Because you get beautiful stuff that's secondhand.
Oh, I got lots of stuff that's secondhand, but some of this music I heard during my NDE.
Like you've just purchased in the last month.
Oh, I don't even know. I haven't really purchased much in the last month inside the
You
house.
showed me something that you got. I think it was last week.
What did I buy? I mean, I got like the fan. I got a lamp. It sounds like the music I heard during my NDE. That's why I'm thinking, why
Well,
is that?
have you asked maybe who it is? And the reason why I'm saying that before you answer that, I had a book client yesterday. I didn't hear it, but we were talking about a spiritual type, mediumship type thing. And then they said to me, did you just hear that? And I said, no. And they said, well, I did. And I said, well, what did they say? And the person said to me, it was a man saying, hello. So all I did was I said, hello. Just kept on going.
It's so faint that it's hard to make, because I even thought to myself, there's something I've been doing, because I always tell people with clairaudience, there's different exercises you can do. So I'll listen to certain pitches, like the highest pitches, and I'll keep going and see how high I can hear it.
Why don't you ask who it is? Like, just say, hey.
I don't get an answer. I even asked my guides, what is this? And it sounds like, when there's a thing that I do, I'll go out in my backyard or in the forest here where I am, and I'll find the faintest sound, and I'll sit down and I'll concentrate just on that faint sound till I can hear it really well. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's say there was water dripping off a rock, like, 300 feet away.
You're focusing.
I'll sit there and I'll listen to it. And I'm wondering if my ears are just I wonder if I'm just getting so good at picking up sound. I'm literally picking up sound from maybe somebody's house, but I'm not quite sure. But it's really quite interesting. But it doesn't sound like music I'd hear on the radio. It doesn't. It feels like it's almost.
You know what we need to do next time it happens? Message me and let's go like on video chat and just see what happens.
Yeah, and see what happens. Yeah.
See what we get.
Or see if you
Nicole
hear
says the Fae, maybe the Fae. And Debbie Schmoley says, sounds like angelic music. I wanted to say hi. And we also got Julie Evans. And Julie's over in the UK, if I remember correctly. So it's late over there. So thank you for joining us so late, or anybody else that is.
Yeah, I'm more towards, if I had to say what it was, I would say it's angelic music. But
did you see what Jackie just posted it before you said that? And I highlighted it. She said, I felt like connected with the angels too, like Debbie.
But on the other side too, angelic music is because I don't think it's audible to the cats or anything.
No, but it might be interesting. I agree with Debbie too. You could take out a digital recorder and record it. Because sometimes, even though we're not hearing it with our ears and it's in the mind's eye, the recorder may pick it up.
It might, yeah, because I've had I woke up one morning to I thought it was an earthquake. And it wasn't. A train went by at 2 a.m. This is a big train, but this is the first one that ever I felt the vibration from it. And when I woke up, and I couldn't fall back asleep then. And then when I started to fall back asleep again, I thought I heard the train again. So I got up and went to the window, but there wasn't any train. I'm like, what is happening with my head? Yeah.
You want to hear something really spooky? That reminded me. I haven't talked to anybody except my guest just before we went live for Monday night. I was telling you, but okay, so I have no idea why. Everybody I have talked to, it's weird energy. Like people, myself included, it's hard to get motivated. You just don't feel like doing anything. I'm not depressed or sad. I just want to just be blasé kind of thing, right? I haven't been sleeping well. I don't usually, anyways. So I go to bed early for me, which is like 1:30 in the morning, and I fall asleep right away, and I'm starting to rewatch the Harry Potter series. Sometimes I'll get into that.
I love Harry Potter.
Yeah. So I was on just restarting the 5th book, right? And so I go to sleep, turn off my phone. All of a sudden, and I must have been having a nightmare because I've been having a lot of nightmares too. It's weird. I woke up straight up out of bed, sat up, looked, and the first thing I heard is check your phone. I checked my phone. My security alarm had. I'm getting goosebumps as I tell you. Like literally 3 minutes before, and my phone's muted, so it wasn't vibrating. I didn't hear anything, and I guess I wasn't focusing well enough, and it's pitch dark, right? And I look, I go, oh, there's a man in my backyard. And it looked like he was like, I'm covered in goosebumps as I'm telling you this. And it looks like he's like staring up at the camera. And so I what the F? And I'm running downstairs, and Del fell asleep on the couch, my partner. So I was going to wake him up. And I literally hear Spirit say, stop, breathe, watch the video. You know what it was?
What?
It wasn't a man. It was my solar lights, and it had been kind of foggy, like because it had been raining and misting. It almost took the shape of a man. That's what I was seeing.
Oh my God! Well, no, that's creepy, though.
And the first thing I heard was check your phone, and now that I've rewatched it, it doesn't look like a man, but in that moment it did. I've been all day, like, why did it look like a man to me? And it did. Like, I looked at it 2 or 3 times, and then once I started to play it, I realized kind of what it was. But why would I have no idea why that happened. Talk about weird.
That is strange. I mean, when you see stuff like that's why I'm glad I took my doorbell camera off. My house records stuff, but it's not. I mean, like the big recorders.
No, this was in the backyard, and the backyard gate is locked with wire.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, how would they get in?
That's why I freaked out. And Del had to be at work really, really early this morning. So I was going, oh, thank God I didn't wake him up.
Or maybe it was a man who turned himself into mist to come through to come. No kidding.
I don't wake up like that. Like, I wake up a lot. Like, I don't sleep well with back pain and stuff, right? But the fact that I sit straight up in bed and I literally hear, check your phone. And the alarm had gone, like I said, alarm on my phone, and it sends you can access the recording if it goes off, and it'll show you what's in there.
Oh, no.
It sends you a screenshot.
You spoke about dreams. It's been, last night was day 5 that I am remembering all my dreams again. For a while, I thought, am I not dreaming again for a while? Or am I just not remembering? But now I'm waking up remembering everyone. And that's cool. I like that. I think I don't
remember all my dreams. That's why when I know I've had a really significant one, like the lucid dream, or like before our haunting started, and the fact that's why it's so profound for me, that it's like it happened 10 minutes ago rather than 16, 17 years ago. Because it was so real that you were there. You were there. Mm-hmm. The astral body was there. Something was happening. But I remember when I woke up, and I was thinking, I should write this down. It was really weird. And you want to know another weird dream I had, really crazy, that I do remember? Mm-hmm. Somebody close to me has had personality changes when they get a few drinks in them, to the point that they don't even seem like themselves. They would say really mean things that they would never say. And I was starting to think, like, what the heck is going on with this person? I literally had this weird dream. And I know you don't believe in this, and I respect that, but they had some kind of attachment, but an evil attachment. And it was the craziest dream. And they were talking about it in the dream, telling me all about it in the dream. Like the whole
in a dream, I believe in a dream that could be totally possible. My dreams have been like explainer videos. I mean, literally, I've been like, I just wake up and I'm like, I have no clue what that is. They're like, just think about it. You'll get it. And I'm like, all right.
Oh. We got a question, but I'll read Kathy and then Debbie's comments. So Kathy Hanley little feels it's a shift, and it could be. And Debbie, this is funny. She goes, I woke up hearing music today, but it was just a dang construction crew next door.
Oh. Well, were the musicians hot? Did you have a good time seeing that at least?
Well, the thing is, you don't have next door neighbors, do you? Right? Like you're
no, I don't have
spread out a bit, so it's not even there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not have anybody near me.
So Michelle Wilfong says, what's the difference between an orb and a spirit wave or mist? Oh God, we could do a whole show on that.
Oh,
orbs are my pet peeve. I'm going to tell you right now.
There's an old joke that Lemon Pledge has been debunking orbs since 1972.
And I'm not making fun of anybody, okay, but you
Yeah.
always say you can tell where somebody is in their paranormal journey if they get very obsessed about orbs. And I will admit, in the beginning, I was one of those people. So I'm not making fun of it.
We all were. Yeah.
And I
Until
think
you start
orbs exist. Orbs exist.
Oh, orbs are real. I know they are real because I have saw them. Well, it all depends. Listen, I'll tell you. Here's how it goes with orbs. I don't know everything in the world there is about orbs, but I can tell you this. My go-to for orbs is it doesn't need a light source, which means it's visible in the dark. It doesn't have to have a camera shine on it or a reflection. Because orbs are their own energy, because that's what orbs are. Some people, if they see it close up, will see a face in an orb. But I want to say, I've seen some where they said there's a face, and I'm like, okay, that is not pareidolia. That is literally a face. I mean, you can literally draw it and put it on a picture.
It's a full experiment.
Yeah, the skull experiment.
They caught some real faces in orbs.
Yeah, and they're real faces. And also orbs. Now, see, I used to have people send me pictures of orbs all the time. And I remember one lady, she said, this is a camera in my kitchen. And of course it's in black and white, whatever. So he goes, look at all these people in my house, all these orbs. So I'm looking at the photo and I come back to her and I said, I don't believe those are orbs. And she goes, oh no, they're orbs. And I said, listen, here's why I'm saying they're not orbs. As I'm looking at, this is how my mind works. I'm looking at it. There's a cage in there, and their doggy, their little puppy was in the cage, okay, because she sleeps in a crate at night. So that dog is in there. The ceiling fan was going, and all this other stuff. I'm like, that's not orbs. That's dust flying all around your house. I said, if you don't like orbs in your house, just dust.
I'm going to send a picture right now of what somebody that's, and like I said, you can tell where they are in their paranormal journey. And I've been there. David admitted it too.
Everybody, we both have.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys this picture from my backyard. This is not the one that woke me up. Okay. And you're going to take a look at this.
Spirits also do come in as mist. I've saw spirit as mist. I've saw mist.
I have pictures of mist from my house.
Mist, I will say up and down. That is a real thing, as far as I know. And I can tell you, when I see, if I go into some place and I see a spirit, how it appears to me sometimes is if, did you ever see when it's really hot outside and you see like that wave that comes above the cement? You know, it looks like it. Yeah, that's how I see spirit in a house. Yeah, I see that wave. It looks like it looks like whatever you're looking at, it looks distorted. And that's how I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely something standing there. I can see that.
Okay, so no, but you see this. Okay, this looks like, I don't know what you want to call it. It almost looks like there's a little being standing there, sort of in the middle. There's all kinds of stuff. That's pareidolia. Do you know what was going on last night when that was going up? That was not the picture that woke me up, by the way. It was misting out. It looks like there's like all kinds of haze and crazy stuff going on there. And if you looked out the window, you wouldn't even see the raindrops. That's what the camera picks up on night vision. With orbs, there's some criteria with it. And so there's a particular shape that orbs take. You need to debunk it before you just jump to orb, because David gave some great examples. Other ones, I had somebody, bless his heart, he sent me a video that his house was full of orbs. Meanwhile, he's shaking out the covers as he's doing it. And orbs everywhere, was dust. The other thing is, when I consider an orb, you need to see it with your own eyes, first of all. That can definitely be, not saying definitively it's an orb, but it gives it a bit more credibility rather than looking at a video, say a picture or a video, if you had any activity around it. So what I'm referring to, especially, say, you guys all know I've talked about them enough on Friday nights, Paranormal Nightmare. So when they're in certain places, not so much in a home, but usually in a place that's notoriously haunted. I've seen it happen when they've been in prisons and stuff like that. And they've got 5 or 6 different ghost boxes going off, like like just devices that you'll get a voice coming through, right? Or
Yeah.
you'll hear either a big bang or something, but you will literally see a light source going through. And it's just one, it's not a bunch flying all over. And then maybe one of them will get touched. You'll see their shirt get picked up or something. That would be more credible to me that it could be an orb. I think in Paranormal University, on my group that I have for all things paranormal, if you go into the files or the photos, I screenshotted, this was quite a few years ago, all the criteria for orbs to be able to tell if they're real or not. Now, you were asking about mist. I have pictures in my previous home of black mist, and you cannot miss it. Like when you see it, or like David said, a spirit is near. One of my things that I consider could possibly be spirit is when you're seeing an investigation, especially when it's live. We're getting weird audio because we're talking about mist. And the camera goes really blurry and it can't focus. I always think that's got to be some kind of energy interference, because it's perfectly fine. Doesn't matter if they put it back down, try and refocus. And usually they're getting a lot of activity in the room. Okay. So I'm not saying it's definitively, can't even say that word, paranormal, but something to consider. Now, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, I'm going to give her another shout out, one of our fellow hosts here on Fridays, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Spirit Switchboard. She had somebody from Southern Ontario come on, Grant, and they actually did a whole show on orbs and about the ones that look like rods and the whole bit and what they could be. He even went into the shutter speed you were using and why it would look that way and how to debunk it and more than likely what it would be. And he said a lot of times it is not paranormal activity.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah, more times than not, orbs are not what we think. Now, rods, if you see rods, there's a theory that rods are animals. So it's their souls. I don't know how true that is. Some people say it. You know what? I don't think we've actually have definitive proof of anything.
We don't because it's paranormal.
Most orbs that I see don't have a face because I am a big pareidolia person. I will tell you there are some things I've even looked at. I've showed pictures and they said, "Oh my God, look at that face in your house." I'm like, "Oh, that's not a face. You're just seeing that." I totally know what it is. But there are faces though. I have seen some orbs, like I said, where the face and the orb literally looked like a drawing of somebody. I mean, it looked like
I always ask people too if they send me.
It wasn't just two eyes and a nose. Yeah.
No, but when they share it, I ask them, "How did you feel?"
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
Did it give you? What else did you experience? What did you hear? What did you smell? Did you feel anything touching you? Like you go through the whole thing to ask them. But more often than not, like I said, that's why it's a pet peeve. And I know Dave and I have had this conversation on here before and off air, that we all get fooled by orbs in the beginning. That's why when I said you could tell where somebody is in their paranormal journey. And again, I'm not saying all orbs are fake because they're not. We've given you examples of when that could potentially be, could be a spirit. So Diane Brighton asked, and this is a quick, easy answer. You put, or not a question, but you said you can pick up entities, attachments if drunk. Not true. Where I will say it is kind of true, because I don't want people to think if you have a couple drinks or you have one too many that, oh God, there's going to be a spirit attaching to me. And I don't think quite that's what you meant. But people that habitually use things like maybe drugs or alcohol, there's a lot of different things that could affect your energy field, if you will, your aura. It could make you be a bit more prone to something being a little bit more attracted. And we're not saying demons or anything like that. What we're saying is it could happen. It makes you more open. Go ahead, Dave. I know you're going to jump in.
Yeah, I was going to say, I look at it this way. I agree with Lorilei. It's unless you are somebody who thinks about the paranormal and goes into a haunted house and does investigations when you're wasted, yeah, you're probably
I wouldn't suggest you do that.
You're probably going to pick up something, and all those people will always blame it and say I'm possessed. I'm like, no, you're just stupid. You should have never went, because a spirit isn't every spirit. Sometimes they're just gonna what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to kind of
mess with you, and they're
get your feelings. Yeah,
not everybody's all love and light that's earthbound.
Yeah, exactly. Not everybody is. Because you know what? I looked at it because I used to have people tell me that all the time. And then I said, do you know what? I grew up in my entire frame of friends around me were all alcoholics who drank and partied and drank and partied. And not one of them ever in 50 years had an attachment of
well, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not a common thing. But for example, Dave won't do this either. And I know I don't. If I had I knock on wood, I don't get sick very often, but say I'm sick, or say even if I'm having a really bad pain day, and it doesn't happen very often, but if I had something booked with somebody else, I would not be doing that session because I'm not 100% and everything is energy. I could potentially send somebody some of my pain because I know for myself, I can pick up other people's pain if I tap into them. So you should be 100%. And it's not to scare anybody, because I don't want people thinking if, there's a negative spirit hiding around every corner that's waiting to jump the weakest link. That's not what it is. And I think that's what you said, Dave. Like, your friends imbibed in it all the time. Mm-hmm.
Did your everything just stop for you?
No.
Oh, everything just buffered for me. I don't know if you were. I couldn't see or nothing. That's because we're talking about orbs and spirits. See what happens.
Michelle Wilfong says, I have so many orbs. I'm obsessed because this is still new to me. I still have no answers. And that's what you will find out. And the best suggestion David and I can give you is start doing some research. What you can to Google, ask what is real when it comes to orbs. You can, I'm telling you, I found all kinds of research on it. You can go through it, look at it. And as you start to learn more and more, you start to realize and be able, you should debunk it. Just because you see,
always debunk it first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Always, especially in the field of the paranormal, the first thing we always want to do is try to find the reason that it's not what we think it is first. Mm-hmm. Then, if you can't get anything, because it's not paranormal until you've gone through all the debunking and everything, then it's paranormal because it's not normal. There's something about it that's not normal. It doesn't mean it's spirit. It just means it's not normal.
I appreciate Michelle sharing this. I'm going to share your comment. She said, oh, thank you. I thought I was crazy. I see faces in them all the time. Have pictures of dogs in orbs. Okay. So here's a good point. Like you said, I have a photo of mist. And I swear there's a woman's face in the center of it. Now, this isn't a scientific method or anything like this, but I can guarantee you, and it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But if you show that picture to somebody else, especially if you got it circled what you're talking about and somebody else can't see a face in it, there's probably not a face in it, because the human brain likes to connect the dots. We like to make sense of things. That's what pareidolia means. When we were little kids, right? Maybe some people still do
human beings have that built into them. So
that's what I was going to say. When we used to be kids and look at clouds and you'd say, oh, I see a dog. Oh, I don't see a dog. I see a dinosaur. Or I see whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's what pareidolia is.
Now, there are faces, though, like you said, though. We're not saying that you're not right and there's not faces in it.
Yeah, you could have faces in there. And just because somebody else can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it doesn't. But that's a theme for like EVPs. Like whenever somebody gives me an EVP, they'll send me the EVP and they'll put the words across the screen. Mm-hmm. And I'll send it right back and say, I want to hear the EVP without the words. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see the words, because if you show me the words, we all know if the words are on the screen, that's what I'm going to hear. So
do you remember that one? It was on Facebook years ago, and it was whether you heard Yanni
it's all over TikTok. Yeah, red, blue. Do you hear Bart Simpson or do you hear something else? Yeah, it all depends.
So Debbie, but Debbie, you've been a paranormal investigator and you're well versed in this, as well as you're part of the spiritual field. So she said, I've seen thousands of videos of orbs that were dust. Yes, agreed. But if you try to explain it, the poster gets butthurt. I just stopped trying to explain it. And we all do. In the beginning, when people would say to me, I'd catch something in my home and they'd say that's not an orb. Right. And then you feel foolish kind of when people tell you that when you're first doing it. Like, I get it. I've been there.
Oh, I still see things and got pictures, and I'll still go to my friends and go, what does this look like to you? Mm-hmm. and that's how I phrase it. what does this look like to you? I don't say, hey, look at this picture of this woman that I see that is wearing a tiara and a ring in her left hand. You know, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, what do you see? And that's it. Some people are going to say, I don't see anything. And some people, if they see what I see, that's where I freak out. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, but then there's a little bit more validity. So Michelle said, I've seen it with my own eyes. I would tend to think, especially if it's pitch black and you're seeing a light source and a round or with a little bit of a tail or something, you're seeing it with your own eyes. Cameras, you got to be a little suspect with them. But again, David and I can't stress this enough. You really have to debunk things.
Yeah, you really have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't do. I always tell people in the paranormal field or anything, you don't do anybody any favors unless you start researching what you saw. Because you just can't take everything as a picture. Now, orbs. Oh, speaking of orbs, the weird thing is Bigfoot. Usually, if you ask anybody who is really into Bigfoot or follows Bigfoot, they always see orbs.
I got asked that question on a panel
all the time. Yeah,
I got asked why. And so what I received from Spirit, and I have not seen Bigfoot as far as I know. I live in an area with a lot of bush. Maybe Bigfoot's seen me and I haven't seen them. I don't know. But to me, I really believe that Bigfoot is a multidimensional.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think Bigfoot or Sasquatch or what's the other one? The other guys, I think he calls it Sawa or something. The guy, it's How to Hunt on YouTube. And people write in their Bigfoot encounters. But my point is, I think that they are able to be multidimensional, right? And so that may be what you see and all you see, or they could be going from physical form into
something else,
invisible, if you will. Mm-hmm.
Or they're around them or something. I find that fascinating. I have zero. There's nothing I could study on that because I myself have not.
I haven't experienced it. The other lady that was on there was a panel of 10 people, and she was so awesome. I wish she could have spoke a little bit more. I forget what she said, what she thought it was. She was building off of that and then the theory about energy and stuff, but she had a really good explanation. Her name was Tracy, and I can't remember what she had said, and I wish I could, and I said to her, you know what? That's a really good explanation. If I can find the clip, I'll try and clip it, you guys, and put it on the group. So Jennifer M says, on Tuesday, there was a podcast with Sean Kelly, who is on this network. And his show is on Tuesday nights. And his guest was the girl from the stars. And she had orbs follow her from Mexico to North Carolina when her family moved. She had a cool story. Well, interesting. You guys will have to check that out. So then Michelle added, hang on, I'm getting caught up, guys. I'm going to figure out how to post on your Facebook and post some video and photos of orbs with faces in them. I have them small as oranges and large as beach balls. So you know what? Please put a proviso in there. Our group's good, though. I'm thinking of some of my other groups, and they're very nice. Everybody's really kind, but people will sometimes it'll sound a little snippy. That's why I don't like texts that you can write versus hearing someone's voice. Ask them to be kind, but if you want to know what they think, and they may very well be, I'm interested in seeing them. So Kathy Hanley Little, there's a theory that rods are dimensional travelers. And Michelle says, I have the spirit rods too. Diane Brighton says, my experience was an old barbershop next to the town bar. Several times the person fell to the floor. And then something about there were homeless people in the barbershop in 2017. Oh, they said the entities left as we prayed. Well, I can tell you that yesterday I had quite an interesting conversation with one of my clients because of somebody that appeared to them in a dream. And they could not speak English to them. And they had been somebody a little bit more well-known. I didn't know who they were till I looked them up. But my point is, first thing I said is, I'm wondering if they're earthbound. I was feeling that because on the other side, we don't use our mouths to talk. We use telepathy. So language isn't always a barrier. Sometimes it is. And I've heard with some people it is. But they appeared to be very anxious and concerned and worried. And so we had an interesting conversation about crossing spirits over and stuff like that. So I don't know if it worked or not, but we walked through it together. And I said, if they show up again, let me know. We'll see if, there's another way we might be able to help them.
It's weird. There's so much that nobody knows or really thinks about when they start going into the paranormal field. I think a lot of people think there is like here and there. So there's like earth and then there's like heaven. So that's it, just those two places. And what I found from my near death and everything else, yeah, there's earth, but then there's a billion different dimensions of earth. And then there's an astral world between that. And then there's also like a fifth dimensional world between that. When everybody says we're in the fifth dimension, that's not true. You're in fifth dimensional thinking, but you're not fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is a lot of, I guess higher ups are going into that. They don't need a body. They don't have a body. You'd walk through walls in the fifth dimension, but you can leave this earth. And instead of going all the way over, you can stop at the astral, or you can stop at the fifth dimension, or you can stop at the sixth dimension. But once you go all the way over, everything else is null and void. You're no longer in that imaginary place. So that's why I say, like, when I say, like, I don't believe in demons and all that other stuff, I'm not saying that none of it exists. I'm saying in my wheelhouse, how I work and how I see things, it doesn't exist for me. I can't see it. So it doesn't exist for me. So like faces, I always thought about when we leave here, I can tell you from my NDE and everything else, I had no face. I mean, I had no body. I mean, I wasn't Dave in this face and body. And I saw people that I knew and recognized them like that, but it's not their natural state. Your natural state is spirit. With spirit, you don't have to have eyes and nose and a mouth and everything else. I mean, your energy.
We know each other by energy.
Yeah, your energy. But you can have this at any time. And that's why I always thought when we see ghosts, I even ask ghosts. I literally say, I'm like, okay, it's like you're sitting there and you're thinking, I'm seeing you as a person and I can see through you. And I know that you're not in a physical form right now, but I'm like, is this your form now? Or are you just like showing me this so I have some sort of visual to connect to?
I hear you. I'm looking for this thing. I'm trying to find it. I posted it in here and it's not showing up, but I posted it in our group and I'll find it. I'm using my old phone because the volume's turned off, but I'm positive I posted it in our group and I wasn't looking for it. And it came up yesterday. I forget the guy's name. I think I put the link to the original video though with it. And what he was talking about was they have hypnotized thousands of people, past life regressions and stuff, to people to share what actually happens when we die and where we go, what we do on the other side. And it was fascinating. And I know I posted it in our group. I don't see it. I might have to use my newer phone and see, but it was really fascinating to hear that. Now, again, I mean, you're going to hypnotize thousands of people and you're collecting data. I forget who was doing it, but it was it wasn't that long of a video. It was about maybe less than 10 minutes. It was really interesting though. And again, you got to take what resonates with you, I think, and leave the rest, right?
That's all you can do. I mean, if there's one thing I can tell anybody from the NDE that like my guides and everybody has always taught me is your perception of whatever energy you want to be in after here is your perception. It's just like here. None of us are seeing the earth the same way. We all might see the same tree, but we're all seeing it differently. So it's the same thing after. Hi, Mish.
Oh, hi, Mish. I haven't seen you forever here. Good to see you. Well, I know you pop in, but I know you're getting ready for work and everything.
Getting ready for work.
Kathy Hanley Little says, Bigfoot. I've heard this as well, Kathy. And again, I don't know if hang on, it's not highlighting. I've heard this.
Yeah, that's what Bashar says something about that too.
So Bigfoot is the evolved humanoids that were not manipulated by aliens. I have definitely heard that theory.
No, I heard that one.
I don't know what's real and what's not. So I always say we're not going to know all the answers till we go back home ourselves.
I'm going to wait till they get here and then they can enlighten us if we need to know it.
Oh, she says no work today over in it's Friday over there already, Dave. So she says good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. What happens in the future, Mish? Could you let us know? Mish is in
Yes.
Australia, so it's the future where she is.
She says, "G'day, g'day, Dave. G'day, Lorilei." And then Michelle says, "I have had 4 neighbor kids come to the door. I have afternoon snacks for them, healthy, of course." Well, that's really sweet that you do that.
That was nice.
Really, really
long
sweet.
weekend. Good for you and your long weekend. But yeah, Kathy Hanley Little, I have heard that too about that Bigfoot or whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Was because we come from not Homo sapiens. Is it Homo sapien?
And from Homo sapiens, we come from before is Homo erectus and a whole bunch of Homo.
Yeah, because somebody, you get the smart ass that go, if we derived from apes, how come only some of us made it over the hump? I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't really care. I don't believe we evolved from apes in that sense. I do believe that there was genes that manipulate. I believe in the seeded theory. That's my belief. You can have the seeded theory just means every planet puts something on here and we are just all mixed up of everything. That's why I always tell everybody, pretty much everybody here is a star seed in some way, shape, or form. You know?
I've heard so many different theories that resonate with me. I'm just open to it. So Debbie says with Bigfoot, I feel that they're kind of gatekeepers to multi-dimensional gateways, trying to keep humans away so they don't get lost in the multiverse by accidentally going through a gateway. Could be. You never know.
I love Mish's comment.
I know. I was getting to it. So Mish says, apes and pigs mated, and here we are. LOL.
Okay. Some of those people are really still close to that too. I mean, they really are.
It takes all kinds of people to make the world go round, right?
Yeah, it does.
Right?
But it really is. If we can learn anything from paranormal or anything, is we're never going to have every answer because there's literally billions of opportunities. There's billions of different things that can happen. There's also the theory that once you go to heaven and you're there with God, that outside of God, there's a whole nother thing with a whole nother God that governs this God. So it goes on and on and on and on and on. So what I'm
going to wait till I get there. You know what? I call it going back home. And then I won't get into that, Debbie. I see it and it's funny, but I'm not highlighting it because we agree we don't discuss politics on here, but you weren't, but it's a good joke.
Yeah, I think it was just 2 pigs.
Anyway. No, it takes different kinds of people to make the world go round. That's why we're all different.
Yeah, it does. I mean, all I know is this. The one thing I learned from my near-death experience is that there is endless possibilities to who you are, and what you can be. And there is no such thing as you not existing. Right there. You'll never not exist. You'll always know who you are. Just like you know who you are right now. You're going to go, I'm this person. You might have a different name.
I know what I forgot to add. I was going to add to this. Well, kind of in a way it goes with what you were saying. So that I can't find that article. So I'm going to post it in our group after the show. Okay. The one about what happens when we die. This guy that posts, I think he's on TikTok, but he was making when you plug them in, like meditation, self-guided hypnosis for you people, should they wish to experience it, it would be like a past life regression, but to take you back to that time, should you wish to experience for yourself maybe what that past life was, or because people that go through past life regressions, I've had many, and you can look at who you were in that lifetime and you can experience what you went through in that lifetime. You don't experience the pain is where I'm going with death, but you see it. It's like watching a movie. But he's claiming that he's working on, with whoever the researchers are, a guided meditation, if you will, or self-hypnosis to take you back to see what you experienced when you left the planet, say in your last lifetime or whatever.
Yeah, you can, I guess. I think the reason why it's not going so fast is because I think it depends on the person, but there really isn't any linear. We're experiencing the illusion of linear time. So everything is actually at the same time. So I guess when I think back, they're like, David, who were you in the past life? I'm like, well, whoever that is, it's still going on. It's, but that's really hard to understand, even for my head. I'm like, I
Well,
don't
Debbie's
understand.
sharing that she did one with Chris Lee and it was mind blowing. I've had many with Chris Lee. He's awesome at it. And it's a really interesting experience. I guess I would probably call it a channeling experience I did with him once. And you guys ever want to look him up? That's Past Life Rap, RAP .com. He doesn't rap. I forget what it stands for. I think the R stands for another word for future and past. That's why it's RAP, RAP, and .com. Check him out. He's awesome. He does great. Great work. You remember what you're doing. You know what you're doing. But like, for example, when it was kind of channeling the information I was getting, I don't really remember a lot after the fact, but there's a transcript of it. Like I had arranged that myself personally. And I think he had recorded it, but he doesn't encourage people to record when you're doing it. But like I said, he's awesome. Debbie's vouching for him. I'm vouching.
I had QHHT done, the Dolores Cannon thing to me. It wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. It gave me a few.
Yeah, it wasn't really exciting. Like the lives I went into, but the reason why I did it was because, and Chris has a video somewhere on YouTube. He still has it up, I'll try and find it. And he explains about past life regressions and also about hypnosis and a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube. And it makes a lot of sense. There's also a really interesting past life regression of a girl by the name of Haley Reese. She used to do a lot of stuff with paranormal and things like that, but she's in Southern Ontario in the Toronto area in Canada. She has a 3-part series and they filmed her past life regression. And it is powerful to watch. It gave her a lot of answers about why she doesn't really like one of her aunts or get along well with her aunt in this lifetime, why she's so close to her much younger sister. It was fascinating to watch. That's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's going to all depend. I mean, even like I've heard people channel, this is what it's like on the other side. And I've listened to a bunch of them, and I thought I didn't like.
Yeah, but that was your experience and what you needed to experience.
Exactly what I needed.
The reason why this really weighed on me with the guy that presented this is it's thousands of people they've done over many years, and they've been like, I guess they've been correlating what they've been receiving and documenting it. Like there's not a typical research article you'd read, like say in the medical field or something, but there's enough of a sample that they didn't just talk to 10 people and say, this is what happens when you die.
Was he pre-Dolores Cannon or after?
Oh, he's just recent. So it's not always, but Dolores Cannon, like you can do QHHT, but there's other people that do like past life regressions too, right? And as I understood it, and I could be wrong, you guys can watch it yourself and see the way you take it. The people agreed to have what you would call a past life regression, but they wanted to be taken through the death, what happens when I die, right after, and then as I transition back home. And thousands of people reported what they experienced, what went on through there in a hypnosis session.
Yeah, because Dolores Cannon, it wasn't QHHT at first.
No, I know it wasn't.
Cannon did exactly what this guy was doing. That's why I said I wondered which was which. I will tell you this, as far as like the actual near death goes, I read a ton of books by Sylvia Brown, and I read her Life After Death. So in my head, I thought for a while that's probably how it was.
Actually, Debbie,
I'm going to say it was absolutely nothing like that. And I was so happy because I did not like what I read. I'm like, I don't want that.
Okay, so Debbie, you said, I wonder why nobody's doing future life type hypnosis. They are.
They are.
I kind of remember what the word is that begins with R, that means future. That's why Chris's website, for example, is, like I said, the rap.com. Chris Lee, I think, whatever I said to you guys off the top of my head. And the last before the .com was RAP, because it's R and past, meaning, I don't want to say it's not recessive because that would be diminishing. It's something to do with the future. And the thing is, if you wanted to have a future life regression, or not regression, it would be progression. If you wanted to do that and you wanted to have a session and you're with somebody that does this type of work, you could have one, but you got to remember too, the future's not written. It would be a potential of something in this moment, in this timeline, right? But you could do it, and people do it. Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's a dentist. I actually talked to him on the phone years ago.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You made a really good point.
He does future as well. So if you want to have that experience, you could have that experience.
I'm concentrating right now on my present, my moment. For past life, I saw enough past life in my NDE that I needed to see in order to fix a few things. So I'm one of those people. I think that if you go get a past life reading done because there's something that you're needing to fix or heal from, I think go ahead and do it. I think if you're just doing it for SIH and giggles, you know what I'm saying?
Well, but some people, okay, so I just remember what the RAP stands for. It stands for regression and progression. As soon as I said progression into the future, that's what it stands for. RAP. So what did I say? I didn't say Chris Lee RAP. It said something like that. I'll have to look it up. I'll give it to you guys in the group. But that's what it stands for. So you can have that. But I asked somebody recently that said they wondered about their past lives. And I said, you don't have to go to somebody to do that. There's lots of free guided meditations you can use, whatever that is, right? Yeah. But the thing is, I asked them, why do you want to have one? And they just said, I want to have one. When I had it the first time, I was having Chris Lee on my show. This was years ago on my previous network. And he asks hosts when they have him on their show, if they would be open to having a session to know what it feels like, to be able, if they're willing to share with the audience, this is what I experienced, and to let people know. And I was open to it. But this person just said, I want to know. I want to know certain things about certain things. So I don't think there's a problem with that. If you want,
well, no, that's different. I want to know, I'm talking about the person that goes, oh yeah, they made me come here and do this today. Those kind of people. I'm like, no, don't do it.
Well, a lot of people with phobias, actually, they're finding
they're good for that. Yeah, they are good for that. They can help you. I've always thought, though, as far as a past life goes, like people always go, oh, who was I in a past life? I was like, which one? Which freaking one? Because you're eternal. You've been around and had lives for thousands and thousands of our years. So you've been here. You might have been here for like a minute. You might have been here for 3 years and then left. You might have been here for 30 years and then left. You might have been here for 20 years and then left. You might have been here for 80 years and left. You might have been in something where you were living for 300 years. So you don't.
You're not always on Earth. And I have seen people. I've heard people tell me you can't have a life as an animal.
Yeah, well, there's different lives. There's different births.
No hard and fast rules. And the way I explained this recently to somebody was, right, and you'll know this, David, yourself, having a near-death experience, how you really get that you are all a part of each other. So I said, imagine we take God or Allah or source, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not being disrespectful. This is an analogy, and he's made out of Play-Doh. And he decides he's going to create the universe. So he takes a little bit of the Play-Doh from himself and he fashions man, woman, and earth, for example. Are we all separate? No, we all came from the source. We all were made from the same material, from the same everything. So we do
everything cut from the same cloth. Yeah,
we are manifestors. We are creators. So I don't think there are these. Like I understand as human beings, we need to have laws. We need to have rules. We need to have routine. We need to have these things to give. I don't want to say meaning, but it gives us stability. To have these things, to understand that there's something that governs life the way we do it. Okay. But there really isn't. You are that powerful as a human being. I explain this to people. We just never been taught to know this, that just because you've been told that something isn't possible and then you experience it, if you experienced it, you experienced it. And then you get into everybody, because this is a question Mish asked, is it free will or doing what you were going to do anyways? I think there's many potentials. I think we make agreements. I know Dave's going to jump in here and add his 2 cents worth. We make agreements with people from our soul group and things like that. There are key points. We may have some exit points, potential exit points built in, especially like a near-death experience. Say we've got a lot on our plate, right? If we go from that, maybe we do. Maybe we know we're going to have a tough life and we got a few potential exit points. We don't have to leave.
Yeah.
We could have had, well, let me just finish, Dave. We could have had a bad car accident. We could have had whatever, right? But your life is not predetermined. I believe we are here for a purpose. Every single one of us are. Now, somebody had mentioned earlier, they wish our relatives would share a little bit more. That's kind of defeating the purpose for coming here. This is one of the most difficult places to come to. I think we come in these dense, fragile, heavy bodies with most of us with spiritual amnesia. So we're here to learn and we have a purpose, but it doesn't mean your life is predetermined. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, let's put Julie Jean Bassett's on there because I like what Julie said, because I'm going to expand on that. I don't agree. Wait, oh no, not that one. We are here to wait, where was it? Right above it. The past life. The past life that shows up is the past life that is currently affecting your present. There's something to that. And I agree with her because of the fact that when people talk about future lives or past lives, what you do in your present state is always affecting your past life, and it is always affecting your future life. And what your future life sometimes is affecting your present life. But what happens is, even though we have all these things going on congruently, you have a focus. Your focus is in your present life right now. Like right now, I'm focused on being Dave. I am on the thing at the foot of the bed. I'm doing this. Anything that I'm doing or saying in this moment is affecting my past, and it's also affecting my future. Now, so that's why I always say, when you heal your past, it immediately changes your present. So when you heal your present, it immediately makes your future better, I guess, is where you're going.
Well, I think it changes your vibration. It helps
your vibration.
If you want to look at an analogy, it starts to heal the big bag of heavy stuff that no longer serves us. It starts to lighten the load, raises the vibration.
Exactly. You know what the weirdest thing is? The funny thing is, it's like when people ask a near-death person about their near-death, there's so much we have to leave out because, and it's true, there's literally no words or emotions to describe certain things. It's like, I know it, I see it, I feel it. I can't tell you what it is. It's really odd.
Well, I had a guest on Monday night, a repeat guest. He's the guy I've mentioned that 2 minutes before going live, he's lived in Australia for 40 years and he has dual citizenship in Canada. And he tells me 2 minutes, this was in February, 2 minutes before we go live, that he was born in the same city I'm in, lived here for 30 years and after law school. But the interesting thing is he's written a couple books on near-death experiences, but he's never had one. He went by all the research. So we had some pretty interesting, profound discussions, including, I just had him on Monday night and we talked about, he had never heard of the Mandela effect. And I said, really? So then we got a little bit into timelines and time dimensions and things like that, because the previous time he was talking about one experience that somebody had shared in the research. And he said they had always wanted to go to New York. They were always so drawn to New York. So when they had their NDE, their guide, they referred to it as their angel, actually brought them back to the 40s, which this person was very interested in. And they actually had a lot of their experience in New York. And I said, well, for whatever reason, that must have served the purpose of why they had the experience the way they did. But my whole point is, he said, when I die, I would love to go back. I think he said to the Roman Empire or something. And I said to him, you don't have to have an NDE to do that. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, remote viewing. You can go forward, you can go backwards, you can do all of these things with them. And he hadn't heard of remote viewing before either. So I said a whole bunch of stuff on remote viewing. So
I will tell you this. There is also a theory, which is really fun, you guys. Wrap your head around this one. So there's like a theory, like I had a near-death experience. So there's another time period where I didn't come back. I didn't make it. I did leave, and everybody else is still alive, going on without me in that one. And they're saying that sometimes they said you lived because you didn't want to go. You just jumped into the next time period with the same people. It's really weird how it goes.
Well, he had never heard of walk-ins before. Like I said, you came up quite a few times because I kept saying, Mike, I had a experience as a toddler. So when people talk about things, I can see them. I know what they're talking about and what have you, but I don't remember my experience like you do. But you and I, and we've talked about it before, that, for the longest time, right after it happened for a couple of years, like, did you have a walk-in? Did you not? You now believe you did not have a walk-in, but he had never, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? You decided after,
I just gave up. Wondering.
Well, I think that was a conversation we even had one time when you were on the Angel Rock before we did the show, is did it really matter if it was or not? Because you're now Dave and this is who you are and this is what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, something weird went on because of the fact I have a lot of memories of things that when I bring it up to people, they're like, we never did that. I'm like, what, really? I mean, I have a distinct memory of it. And so, I mean, I don't know what that means. But like we said, does it matter at this point? Even a walk-in, here's a lot of people that are so fascinated by walk-ins. A walk-in will never know they're a walk-in. That's part of the deal.
I've met people, though, that how they know.
Yeah, right. Well, we can meet
have
people
no memory up to the point when they awaken from the near-death experience, and but could it be from the experience that they don't remember these things?
Yeah, see, that's what we never know. Yeah.
You don't know, right?
You don't know.
It asked me what it meant. So for people who don't know, the theory is somebody maybe for whatever reason has a near-death experience and just says, nope, I'm not going back. I don't want to go back. I'm done. And there is a lineup, as I understand it, for souls to come to Earth, because it's one of the biggest places. You can clear karma that way in certain ways with a life you choose. You to learn, to grow because of the situation we come into. I've also heard it referred to as one of the most difficult places to come, but there's a lineup to come here. So say you got a perfectly healthy body, right? And I'm oversimplifying this because Spirit's reminding me that another soul then agrees to take over that body, that life mission, the whole bit, and the other soul stays back home. But there is so much more involved with it.
No, there's a lot. There has to be you have to literally agree to it. That soul comes back to finish takes on whatever karma you did.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. You said it beautifully, Dave.
Takes on whatever karma you did not finish, and also whatever karma they accumulate while they're here. Because you literally can't come here and not accumulate some kind of karma, because karma is an exchange of an experience. It's about having an experience and being on the opposite end of that experience. It's not, everybody thinks of karma as a punishment.
Payback, yeah.
It's not payback or cut. So when somebody calls you a name and they trip on the sidewalk and you go, oh, that's karma getting them. No, that's not. That's not karma. That was unfortunate. But that wasn't karma.
And I, like I said, as I was talking, Spirit's reminding me, I literally heard them. I just didn't say thank you, but it's not quite that simple. And it's very rare, as we understand it from the research that we've done, because you and I have had a lot of conversations about this.
Yeah, walk-ins are very, very rare. I like Mish said, Dave, are those lights in your tree?
Oh, I was going to go to our first comment, but okay, we'll go here. We'll go here.
Then my tree. That easy. They're lights in my tree. But you can't see them all. They don't all show up on here.
Yeah, but are the babies, is one of the babies snuck in there? That's why I was wondering why they're shaking. I don't notice them, but Mish says she notices it.
No, there's nobody in here but me and the ghosts. Me and whatever lives in my house with me.
I just remember, see, we get into these in-depth conversations and it flies by so quick. So if you're just tuning in, you are listening to The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with myself, Lorilei Potvin, and David Hanzel on UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. You can hear it in the southern U.S. on 105.3 in Mississippi and 107.7 out of New Orleans. So Michelle had an interesting conversation. It won't take a long answer, but it was a comment. So she said, well, comment question. We experience all that is. Like, do we become everything that's here on earth, good, bad, and ugly? I'm not going to say yes to that. What I say is we have been it all because we've had thousands of lives. But the thing is, you don't always come to earth. Like, you really don't. I'm sorry. Like you just mentioned it earlier, Dave. We've all come from being a star.
Different places or different ways and different dimensions. But yeah, I would say from what I know of, and like Julie Bassett said, and I agree with, we have been everything at some point. Now people had asked me, well, can I go back and be an animal again? I'm like, well, if you did, you couldn't go back and be an animal knowing what you know, because you would be terrorized.
Yeah, but what if you came in with spiritual amnesia as an animal?
I'm suppose you could, because people are very general. We focus on everything. Animals are very focused. Like a cat comes in, the cat knows it's a cat, and it does cat things. It's very focused.
Let's say it was a human before.
And but what happened was, and I know my guide said too, he said the problem with that is, he said, there's already become a problem with people telling people that, oh, my mom died and she came back as my hamster. Okay, no, she did not come back as my hamster. No, she did not. No, your mom is not your dog now. No, your mom is not your cat. No. Your mom can do way more for you over there than she could do while she's here. So she's still with you. Yeah, she's still with you. Animals do reincarnate too. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course they do. I don't know how many times they do in the same life. I have never had an animal yet that is another animal that I've had that I know of so far. But even if they did, I think that it would have the amnesia, like you said. I don't think it would.
I think that's kind of a hallmark thing coming to Earth again. If I was an animal, I don't remember. My eldest son, when he was a teenager, one of his friends' moms did hypnosis and sort of similar work like we did. I didn't even know what was happening until I came home. And I guess there was a group of them over there, and the mom asked them if they wanted to try a past life group regression type thing. And they did. And my kid told me about being a wolf and who he was and who is, because wolves mate for life. And he wasn't telling me about the mating. That would be gross. But where I'm going with this is who his partner was as a wolf, and he was very excited about it. And whether it was real or not, that's not my place to tell him that didn't exist. To me, it gave him great joy. He got a lot out of the experience. So I listened and supported him. So I had to point this out. Mish said something's in your bush.
Hold on. Same stuff that's always there.
I wanted to say hi to Damien Nelson. Sorry, Damien. We got talking. We didn't get a chance to say hello. So, okay. So
trees are knowledge. I tell you, trees are.
I was going to read Mish's. Do you want me to read Mish's? Then we'll go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mish says, my cat is full of knowledge. Trees are knowledge.
And then she said, trees are knowledge.
Yep.
When read Debbie's.
Yeah, tree. Oh, yeah. Debbie said, I had a tree help me out a lot when I was going through my divorce.
Absolutely.
I have had a tree divorce lawyer myself. I think that they have, and not in a funny way, but they really can bring a lot of clarity when you let them. I always tell people, if you're having a really messed up day, if you can go find a tree and just lean against it and just breathe for a minute.
I've taught both my kids that. I can remember one time, Justin, Justin is my youngest son. And we were at the park in our old house, and I was teaching about the incredibleness of trees and knowledge, obviously vocabulary, lightened for him to be able to understand it. And I was teaching him about what it feels like to hug a tree. And as he went to hug this tree, this little 2-year-old toddled over to him. And I don't know if she's drawn to the energy or what she was, but I've always taught my kids stuff like that. I've never told them you have to believe it. Just give them the perspective. and the openness to consider it, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
trees can transmute energy too. I mean, they can transmute like negative energy. I mean, you can literally stand against a tree and say, "Could you take this crap for me?" And tree will give it to the earth, and you're good to go.
so Shannon Casey says, "Hello, friends. Dave, I burst out laughing at your bush."
Oh, that's because when you said there's something in your bush, I looked down in my drawers.
Oh, did you? Okay. Julie Jean Bassett said, I believe you reincarnate into higher evolved being each time. And it could very well be. I don't know, right? Like, I don't know the true answers. To me, it makes sense.
There's what Julie Jean Bassett says. That's part of one of my theories and part of actually something I know, that yes, we move up. So we're human. At some point when you're done, when you've learned what you can learn about being human, you can change a different form. And because it's every time you do a life and anything physical where you go through the amnesia and stuff, it's expansion. So you are becoming better. I don't look at a hierarchy, and I know the other side doesn't like to look at it as a hierarchy.
I think we're all equal.
Yeah, I look at it as experience.
I just had the Play-Doh analogy, right? And it's very simplistic and with no disrespect. But one piece of Play-Doh isn't any better than the other piece of Play-Doh that all comes from the same ball of it, if you will, right? So I agree, though, that you would, but maybe there's an experience, maybe there's a lesson, maybe there's something that you are going to get.
Well, there is. I mean,
I wasn't done, but people that come in disabled, severely disabled or something, right? There's an experience with that where, say,
highly evolved souls. Kids who, autistic kids, people who come in with extreme disabilities and all that, those to me, they're high level. They've been around. They are not new. They've been through it. They just want to do stuff faster. I don't believe like there's kings, queens, and a ruler or anything like that. I do believe it's all about expansion and knowledge. And I believe in the theory that it's like kindergarten through 12th grade. You can't go to kindergarten and then skip and go to senior. You've got to go through all the grades. If you don't go through all the grades, you can't get there. But once you've been through all those grades, you can go back.
Yes. Well, that's why I highlighted Kathy's comment. She said, with all dogs I have had, I knew which ones had old souls and ones that were young souls. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, not with 100% certainty, but you sometimes can tell with human beings.
Oh, I can tell with human beings. I've literally told people, I'm like, did you just graduate from squirrel? Because there is something off about certain people. Not in a bad way.
No, but once you start, and I don't want to make it sound like anybody's better than anybody else, but once you start working and taking notice, and there's many other things besides you just go, yeah, that person's acting like an old soul, but you know it because when you've heard people say, especially to a young child, you're an old soul, right? That child just has a lot of wisdom and like a lot of things with them usually. So
even the souls I talk to in mediumship, some people's loved ones will come through and they give all their normal validations that human beings understand, and then as I'm talking to them, I can tell, I'm like, you are just literally just coming here for me to show me what you look like, because that's not you as I see you. They're so much bigger than others. Some are way bigger than others. I don't mean big like size. I just mean I've had children I've talked to that pass over there that had more knowledge on them than other people. So it really depends.
Well, I said at the beginning of the show, age is just a number.
It really is. It really is. Especially on the other side. Age means nothing.
Yeah. So Julie's Jean Bassett says, I've had cats that were reincarnated from one of my previous cats. I've had dogs that have reincarnated for some of my friends and family. I have too, Julie. And our friend Zisan Dragon is here. He must have just got off here. Hi, Kevin. He's here saying hi to everybody, all the footies here. and people are saying hug a tree, and then Mish said, "Oh, squirrel." Kathy goes, "David, did you just graduate from squirrel?" LOL, LOL.
No, that's what I said to them. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, did you just graduate from squirrel? What happened? You know nothing.
Who knows? We might have, right? Nothing wrong with squirrels. Squirrels actually, when you get into
squirrels, except they can't make a decision, and that's why they end up flat on the road.
No, but what I was going to say is, right, we also know that when we see certain animals within our field, to pay attention to the signs and symbols and things that come with frequency, that there's usually a message with any animal, not just certain animals, any animal, right? So
I'm looking because I had my shade was down halfway, and I had this funny feeling there was a deer outside, but there's not.
Oh.
I only had one deer show up here so far.
I've had I'm not highlighting that one, Mish, but it is funny. That's why they asked about the squirrel thing, Dave, with the comment when you look down. Right. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, funny,
we used to get deer in my front yard all the time at my house that was haunted. Here, I have only seen deers going down the road once. Apparently, we have a lot of raccoons. Luckily, we've had no trash pandas here. But we have started getting coyotes, and we never had coyotes. So there you go.
Ooh. I don't see any here around me. It's basically deer, the occasional really super mean pit bull, because this is the South. Mm-hmm. And, Chuck. I have Chuck still comes around. I have a woodchuck. I just call him Chuck. Mm-hmm. And he's out every morning in my front yard when the dew's on the ground, and he looks so beautiful. I mean, he really does. People go, woodchuck looks beautiful. When you see a woodchuck out your window in the dewy grass and the sun's on it, he's so beautiful. Like, I just want to go out there and pet him. And he's huge. He'd probably kill me or bite me.
Well, my previous co-host, they said she messaged me today at the beginning of the show, and I felt so sad. And she loves animals like we do. And she had found a baby woodchuck, and his mom, I'm sure he was a woodchuck, I'm positive he was. Yeah, he was, now that I think of it. And she didn't know what to do with him, and nobody would take him. And he was doing so well, and like, it's like having a new baby. You got to stay up and feed it and then he just died with no warning. It was quite sad, but you know what? At least he was safe and warm, and he knew he was loved and cared for. So mm-hmm. Oh, Michelle says she has lots of kangaroos, but Kevin says he's in the East Coast in Canada. Hi, guys. Sitting on my veranda, enjoying the trees and breeze and feeding the stray black cat Diamond on my phone. I love when I hear stories like that. So I'm glad you're.
I think everybody should, when you see a stray animal, if you can, just throw it a little present once in a while. You don't have to feed it all the time. But
I just went to go feed the birds today. I bought them special treats when I went out and did my monthly grocery shop. I go more than that, but my big grocery run once a month. And so I bought them a bunch of special goodies, and I have 3 bird feeders out there. And then we had a nest. I think I was telling you guys about the nest that was outside the window. I think they finally given up, though. That mama worked so hard and got it so big. But she had it in the crook of the eaves troughing in the right up. I'm on the 2nd floor under the rooftop. It was a perfect place. But I think what was happening, she was making it so top heavy, and then the whole thing kept collapsing. So I think they gave up. It's too bad. She had takeout down below. She was sheltered. She was in a warm space. It was safe. So maybe they'll come back. Hopefully.
I think I'm gonna put a bat house outside.
Oh, I like that.
I do too, because I love bats, and you know what I loved in Wisconsin, we put a bat house. Me and my old roommate, and she said, David, let's put a bat house on the balcony that we had in back. It was a big old balcony, and I was like, I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm like, why? She's like, just put one up there. She said she heard they got rid of bugs. Anyway, we put it up. And it was no more than about 2 weeks later they started visiting, but then she got scared because they were dive bombing her. And I said, they're not dive bombing you because they're being mean. It's because you're there. They're echoing off you. But anyway, we decided just one night we went out there, instead of walking around up there, we just sat in our chairs, and they just flew in and out of their house.
Yeah.
There was no mosquitoes, and there was nothing. So I would love to put one out here just for the mosquitoes, but I don't know if we can in North Carolina and do that.
Yeah, Julie says she feeds the stray cats around her in the morning, in the afternoon, and you did too before you moved. And
Oh, my parents had 10, 15 cats outside. I can't tell you how many I had.
I always get worried and I pray, and I'm not a religious person, but I do, because cats, people let them out and they try and cross our street. It's really busy. And I didn't realize this. I think I told it back in November when a little stray cat had gotten hit, and I had noticed there was a big commotion. And I'd gone over there, and the girl that hit this poor baby was beside herself. So I thought to look for a collar, and that was the one time when we've talked about compassionately before. Somebody was hoping they were terminal and they were suffering and hoping they'd be gone. This little one was in so much pain. I knew it was imminent, and I just kept saying, please, angels, just please come get this baby. And it was only a matter of minutes. But I called the number, and it was a weird number. His mom was in Utah. Like, that is so far away from where we live. And I guess the previous summer, she had been driving all across Canada and the US and had stopped here, and the kitty got out. His name was Dickens. And I felt so bad to have to make that phone call. Never mind, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning in Utah. And then long story short, I stayed with the girl that hit the cat, because I just felt so bad for her. And talk about a small world. She ran into my eldest son. They had a two-spirit powwow this weekend that just passed. And I guess I'd forgotten to tell my eldest son about it. And he called me and he goes, Mom, you never told me about this. I guess this girl was at the powwow and said, oh, I met your mom. Small world.
Yeah, I'm so careful. I freak when I see people with animals. I'm like, be careful. Don't back up your cars. Don't do this. I'm that guy. I will slam on my. I could have a Mack truck behind me, and if a squirrel runs out in front of me, I'm stepping on my brakes. I'm like, dude, you better be able to slide off, because I'm not going to.
You know what? My heart just broke for the whole situation. Have to make that phone call. And then I had asked her, do you have a friend or somebody that could come? And she didn't think so, but I got her phone number. So she texted me and let me know. I gave her the details where Dickens was taken to and, taken care of properly. But the girl that this happened to, oh my gosh, my heart broke for her, because, it was terrible. You could tell she just adored animals, and my heart just went out to her. It was so sad. So.
Oh, it's terrible.
So I know Kevin's talking about, is it Thea? Is it Thea or Tia in Midnight? And then he said she knows to look both ways crossing the street. She's been around for about 3 years, feeding her each and every day and night. That, you know what? And that's a beautiful thing you can do, anybody that can help out animals, especially if the weather's, inclement, or you know that they're strays and they don't, or maybe they're feral, but they're willing to come to you to feed them.
Yeah, we have a lot of those. I had some cats that wanted nothing to do with me. They just wanted the food and to just sit there once in a while. Joe, I always tell people, did you know that every day of your life you take a life, especially if you have a car, because you probably hit bugs with your windshield. So I will tell people, they're always taking a life. I couldn't help that anymore.
Well, like Shannon had shared about these birds that it happens. Like, I think, sometimes accidents are going to happen. I know you love animals, Shannon, and maybe I know it sounds awful what's happening with them flying in front of your windshield, but there might be a message with the birds. I don't know, maybe look up what kind of bird or the birds, like take a look at it and see what the message is. So let's see. James Fernelli says, I feed neighborhood cats where I used to live at 2 different places. And Kevin's saying he took in one of the cat's sons, Apollo. And Nicole. Go ahead, Dave.
You can always tell a good person by how they treat an animal.
Yes, and that is something that if I find out that people don't care, somebody doesn't care for animals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm the same way. If somebody goes, I hate animals or I don't like animals, I'm like, you need to go away from me.
I just go, yeah, okay. Well, you carry on with yourself. And so Nicole says here in the South, shade and water is so important now due to the heat. And I know, Nicole, that you do a lot of rescue work with cats. And I know Spirit thanks you for that. And the cats do, and many other people. Kevin says he loves his babies. And oh, Michelle says she has a video, audio of a ghost dog barking, 2 separate videos. I've seen some really cool videos, actually, of 2 spirit dogs that were playing in the backyard, and you could see them, and they were playing and chasing, and it could have been a deep fake. I don't know with video tech, but it was a really touching.
But it's beautiful. If it touched somebody's heart, it's okay. That's what I say.
Oh, that's interesting. We haven't got much time left, you guys. So Shannon says, when I was always driving on the highway, if I was thinking of someone I love who passed, I would see a white rabbit and never failed. That's beautiful.
There you go. That's cool.
It's important to pay attention because you know what? When things start showing, at least for a rule of thumb, I don't know about you, Dave, but I know if something shows up with a lot of frequency, my number is 2 if it's a very short period of time, but usually 3 within a day, day and a half. I know that's a message from Spirit for me to pay attention. Like it's either going to show up more or something else is, and get the message from it. Well, like you said, Michelle says, curious of people's thoughts on homeless people, how they feel they are like stray animals. There's many reasons why people are homeless. And I wish we could fix the whole world. I really, really do. Don't you, Dave? Like, I really, really wish we could.
It's part of it. And as much as sometimes we see the bad stuff, sometimes the bad stuff is necessary.
There's reasons why we go through difficult and negative experiences in this lifetime. There's many, many reasons.
Exactly.
None of them that you can blame on the creator, whatever your belief system is for the creator. That's a whole different show. We could do a whole show on that, but
a whole other show. We'll do that show one time, but it's going to take up a whole year.
Well, Michelle, you just said, and then we're going to have to end, you guys. I'm sorry, but Michelle says, I wish I could help this world more. Well, guess what? Just being you, taking the time to do little random acts of kindness, believe it or not, may not change the world, but you'll change somebody's world by doing that.
I've always said, or my guides have always told me, David, if you want to change the world, you start with yourself. Once you start changing yourself, the world starts to look different than you. The world just automatically changes because it's everybody's view of the world. But knowing that, it's been absolutely wonderful, you guys. We had fun tonight talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you would like to get a hold of me or know more about me, you can go to my website, theywhispertome.com. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok under @Medium David Hanzel. Make sure it's the one with over 95,000 followers on TikTok. Otherwise, it's a fake. You can also follow me on, you can join my group in Facebook called The Spirit Experience, or please join my YouTube channel, The Spirit Experience, because I'm going to start doing some lives on there soon.
Tell me about our group.
And about our what? Our group?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And once again, make sure that you join our group, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed on Facebook. It's The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. You can post and look and have a good time, and it's safe. And once we get about 200 people in there, Lorilei and I will also be doing lives in there and do some card pulls and have some fun.
So we want to thank you guys all for joining us. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, stay tuned. Second night of the Outer Realm with the amazing Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano is coming up right after this. They always have 2 great shows, Wednesdays and Thursdays, so check it out. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. I am in the process of working on building a new website that's got a domain name. So just message me. Any social media platform I am on. We talked about that at the beginning. Fastest and easiest ways on Facebook Messenger. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, I've got 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, Angel Rocker Tribe for more things spiritual. And I'd love to have you join us, including the group Dave and I have together. We'd love to get up to 200 and start going live in there. Also, don't forget to join me on Mondays on the Angel Rock from 6 to 8 p.m. I have an amazing, well, I always have good guests. I love the people I have on. And I'm not being egotistical. I love the people I have on. But she's never been on before. Her name is Megan Connor. Now, I had already mentioned her on Monday night. She is associated, her cousin is involved, or was involved in a very serious, really awful legal case with her and her husband. But that's not what we're talking about, because Megan has risen above a lot of adversity. She was not involved in her cousin's case, but has risen above a lot of adversity. This woman has so much wisdom and is an incredible lady, incredible speaker. You guys are going to be really inspired by her. So please join me from 6 to 8 p.m. on Mondays. Otherwise, Dave and I will be back next Thursday, same time, same space, right, Dave?
That's right, you guys. Stay spooky. And should we try it?
Let's try it again.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Almost.
That's close. It sounded close. I know we're getting the lag, but I think
getting there. Maybe by our second anniversary, just after New Year's next year. You never know. We love you guys. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you in the group. Okay. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.